practice, we're going to focus on hip openers. So we're going to start in a child's pose. We want to have our feet crossed, our hips and legs wide. And I'm going to come down into this luxurious child's pose on my mat. Take a few breaths here. Ujjayi breathing. Deep inhale through my nose. Pause at the top. And release slowly on my exhale. Again, in through the nose. Pause. And sigh out. Last one, inhale. Pause at the top. And release. And like an ocean wave, make your way up to your tabletop. Roll forward into a chaturanga. And like a frog position, I'm going to try and drop my legs as far down to the mat as possible. On my inhale, push myself slowly up and back. Child's pose. Ocean wave on the inhale. Up and forward. Elbows by side body. To like a supported chaturanga. Drop my feet. Ocean wave. Up and back. Hips pressing toward the back of my mat. Child's pose. Last one. Ocean wave. Chaturanga. Drop my legs. Up and back. Child's pose. Roll up. Bring your knees to tabletop position. Here, step my right foot forward. Come to a lunge. I need additional support. I'm going to curl my toes underneath me. Push my hips forward. Try and keep them straight. And I'm going to hinge. I'm going to drop my right fingertips to my right side. Swoop my left arm up and over. And get a good side body stretch on my left side. Here I have my dristi toward the front right side of the room. If I want to change my dristi, I'm going to look at my elbow, the eye of my elbow on my left side. I'm going to swoop my left arm in front of my body, plant my palms, thread my leg to the back of the mat, downward facing dog. Let's go in the same way we did on the right side. I drop my knees to a tabletop position. I'm going to lift my left leg forward between my hands at the top of the mat. I already have my toes curled. And I'm going to lean forward into a lunge. For stability, you can place your left arms or your arms on your left leg. I'm going to drop my left arm to the left side of my mat. I'm going to swoop my right arm up and over and get that same great stretch, this time on my right side body. My dristi is up toward the eye of my elbow on my right side. Try and lower my shoulder on my right side. If this is too much, you can leave your left hand on your left thigh and try and find that stretch. A baby stretch is fine here. Swoop my arm down in front of my face. Plant my palms, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Like an ocean wave, come forward, find my first plank position, go through my chaturanga, chin, chest. I'm going to do an upward facing dog. You can do your cobras, like someone's pulling my hips up and back toward the back of the room, downward facing dog. I'm going to slowly walk my feet to meet my hands at the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, come all the way up, hands in prayer, drop them to heart center, find mountain pose, Tadasana. On my inhale, my arms swoop up, my head looks toward my thumbs. I drop over bent knees, forward fold. Halfway lift on my inhale, exhale, plant my palms. I'm gonna take a big step back with my right leg into this great low lunge position. With my left leg, I'm gonna swoop it back to a plank position. Move through my chaturanga, chin, chest, baby cobra, big cobra, upward facing dog. You can see my thighs lift off of the top of the mat, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Always remembering to breathe here. On my inhale, I'm still not warm, so I'm going to take a big step with my left leg, big step with my right leg, halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, come all the way up. My feet are hips width distance apart. My hands are raised up over my head, my shoulders drop. I look up over my thumbs and I dive over bent legs. Forward fold. Halfway lift on my inhale, exhale. Here I'm going to plant my palms because I'm ready now to hop back. So I'm going to shoot through my chaturanga, but I'm going to go to a plank position with bent elbows. Very important. Go through my upward facing dog, hips up and back, downward facing dog. I think I'm ready. I'm going to rise on my tippy toes, bend my knees, hop quietly and gently toward the top of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise. Now I'm flowing. Hands to prayer, heart center. Drop my hands by side body. I'm going to do one more. Big inhale, arms sweep up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, halfway lift on my inhale, plant my palms on my exhale, shoot back through my chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing, inhale, exhale, top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold, root to rise, all the way up. And I said this was going to be a hip opener. So here, you can take your block. We're gonna do squat Malasana. So whatever setting suits you, it is still pretty early in the practice. I'll show you a different view. So with my block, my feet in a second position, I'm bending down, I'm placing my block underneath my tush, and I'm opening my thighs and my hips. Here I can't even really reach my elbow, but this is, are my elbows to my thighs. I'm gonna sit as straight as possible, open up my rib cage and breathe. More of a squat Malasana. I'm gonna lower my setting, sit my tushy down, find the appropriate foot placement, hands to prayer, take my elbows. I'm gonna try and push my thighs back. Here I'm really feeling a good hip opener. And then if you want the ultimate challenge, remove your block, squat Malasana, really deep stretch here hip opening, pushing my legs back with my elbows, and breathing. From here, to hit a peak posture, I could go into my crow. I'll show you this. Chaturanga hands. I'm gonna lean forward. Try and get my toes to touch and find crow. Lower my feet. Find my squat Malasana. And I'm gonna bend the back of my mat, halfway lift, forward fold with bent knees. I'm gonna walk my way back out to my plank. Drishti forward to the top of my mat, slightly in front of it. And I'm gonna lower down to the mat onto my belly. Arms by side body. I'm gonna relax into the mat. I'm gonna find my ankles and push up into my bow. So here it's debatable. You can wrap around inside, grab your ankles this way, puff up your chest, look forward. I have my feet flexed, toes pointed. Other options here, you can go over the top of your feet and play around. Lower back down to your arms. Let's windshield wipe our legs. Really play with this. The slower we do each movement, the deeper we'll feel it, the more great results we'll see. Last one. Plus this is only a 10 or 15 minute workout, child's pose. Oh, the counterbalance of the work I just did in my back feels great on my lower back right now. Scoop my legs around, come down, bring my ankles to a great butterfly position on my mat. I'm going to try and press my legs as wide into the ground as possible. Here you can see I have my back swayed. That's a no-no. So I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, really push my sacrum to the floor. You can see my legs come up a little bit. That's okay. We're trying to find what's best for our bodies in each movement. They're not going to look the same for everyone. Let's take a figure 4. So this is in lieu of a pigeon. So I'm going to take my right ankle over my left knee, and I'm going to hook behind the fleshy part of my left thigh and try and gently pull my left leg in toward my belly. You want to work your abs a little bit here. You can raise your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. You can straighten your left leg, whatever suits you. And really try and push this right knee into a perfect figure 4 and lower my left leg to the ground, get out safely. Right knee goes to 2 little mountains at the top of the mat. Cross my left ankle over my right knee. Pull my right knee toward my belly. I'm really feeling that great psoas stretch. I'm going to interlace my fingers behind the fleshy part of my right leg. Lift my head, neck, and shoulders up off my mat. Pull my right knee toward my belly. And if we're thinking about everything here, I'm going to try and press my left knee into a great figure four. Other options here, straightening my right leg, flexing my foot toward the ceiling. This feels amazing. And breathe. The most important part. On your exhale, let's unravel ourselves. Right leg comes to the floor, left leg to meet it. Let's stretch our bodies on our mat. Wiggle our fingers and our toes. Come up to a seated position at the top of your mat. And thank you for joining me on some hip